Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Omar, the founder of Phoenixtal, and in this video I'm going to show you signal-led prospecting, the only way for European agencies to book demos with buyers before they even hit the market. And while doing this, you can sign 1 to 3 retainer clients every month while cutting your sales cycle in half. So this is going to be an interesting video. So let's jump straight into it. First, a few examples. So Juhani Pajunen, the CEO of Podcast Media, went from struggling with 2 to 5 low-quality leads per month to over 101 sales calls and 1.2 million euros in opportunities in 12 months. And here's an image from our Slack channel. Some of the biggest companies in Finland booked within 24 hours to Juhani's and his team calendar. So HSL, Mehiläinen, and Paulik. And also Mait Lukka, the partner of Kuba Advertising, went from relying on word of mouth to 17 sales calls and 110,000 euros in sales opportunities in 29 days. And here's an image of Mait asking to pause the campaigns because they got too many meetings, which is quite a nice problem to have. And finally, final example, Heidi Santti, the CEO of Family Creatives, went from no systematic sales process whatsoever to 62 sales calls and 248,000 in opportunities in 3 months. And here's an image of great vibes and warm meetings were scheduled on a daily basis, so that's a cause for celebration. And we have also helped over 20 other B2B and marketing agencies, such as Mu Health and Ahja Communications. And here's an image of handful of 7 to 9 figure and even a few billion-dollar companies connected for our clients. So, for example, the biggest bank in Finland, Nokia, Rovio, the creator of Angry Birds, and many more. And all in all, we've scheduled over 800 meetings and generated over 10 million euros in opportunities in just 2 years. And we have also signed 90% of our own 20 clients with this exact same process I'm going to show you in a few seconds. So why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this to show you that this is possible and not just theory, and this is also possible for you and how to replicate it for your agency. Now, who is this video made for? This video is made for you if you lead a European agency and want to find companies that need or are looking for your services right now before your competitors find them. If you want to sign 1 to 3 respected brands on high ticket retainers every month, this can help you with that. And if you're also sick of relying on word of mouth, economic stability, or cheap micromanaging clients, this can help you find those premium clients. And if you're also tired of finding outdated, over-contacted leads manually from Google, LinkedIn, or you name the source, this can help you with that. We're going to check a lot of data sources where to find the best leads. If you ever tried cold calls, outreach, paid as SEO content, networking events, but nothing seems to stick, this can help you with that also. And if you know the value of proper outbound, but don't have the time, resources, or know how to do it, this can help you with all of these things. And if you're excited and a bit of terrified about AI and what it can do for your business, this can help you with that. We're going to leverage AI on your benefit. And also, if your team doesn't hit your KPIs and goals, even if they are busy every day with prospecting, contacting, and sales, so this can help you and your team with this. And if you don't have a clear or productized offer and do a little bit of everything to everyone, this can clarify that. And if you hate long sales cycles and the word I'll think about it, please send some info over email by Indecisive Prospects. This can help you with that. And if you want to expand across borders into new markets, into new countries, even continents, but don't know what the best approach is, this can help you find a scalable way to do that. And if you tried outreach with HubSpot, Apollo, Pipedrive, or other multi-purpose tools with no success, and if you have been burned by cold callers who charge for unqualified leads that doesn't even show up, this is for you. And if you're tired of being stuck, wasting money on new tools, or wasting time on useless trends, this gonna skip that and go straight to the actual important stuff. And if you say your competitors win on social media, they win post on LinkedIn and wonder what you're doing wrong, this can help you. And finally, if you want better clients, higher profit margins, and be seen as the number one player in your industry. Now, here's the thing. Most European agencies think that cold email is dead and it doesn't work. That's crazy, since marketing experts, above all else, should know that channels don't die. The competition just gets better. And when competition gets better, you have to get better yourself or get left behind. And your prospects are responding to cold emails every day. You know that. You know your cold emails in your inbox too, so you know this to be true. And if you're not getting responses, this can be one of two things. One, your message aren't being seen. They're going to the spam folder, or they simply suck. I'm sorry to say that, but we're going to fix that in this video. And first of all, your emails need to land in the primary inbox to be email seen. Many mess up here because the email service providers, such as Google and Microsoft, their filters are so strict nowadays. And it's really hard to know exactly what's the issue is. So we gotta do everything right, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. And second, your emails need to address their pain points, goals, and everyday life for them to even care. And I'm gonna show you how you can know everything about your market. And third, your messages need to be direct, so the information is easily digested, and they also must be sent at the right time, so that they are relevant and provide value, capturing their interest in the inbox, which is quite crowded nowadays, but you can make it work. And finally, your online presence must resonate with them and also look trustworthy. Because before they decide to reply or not, they will check out you and your company from your website, your LinkedIn profile, they will Google your name and your company. So everything must resonate and be trustworthy. And on top of everything, you need to reply fast, track your conversations so you can move them forward every day, and have a great sales process to turn them into paying clients. Now, look, this isn't as simple as it was 5 years ago. Just go into Zoom info, send your emails, and boom, 20 meetings there. That's not going to happen right now. But since cold email is becoming a normal way to buy and sell services, the rewards of mastering it are bigger than ever. And in this document, I'll show you exactly how to do this. So back in 2022, I started working as the head of SEO at a marketing agency in Helsinki, Finland. And here is me and my Picasso level painting after a wine and pint day at the office. Quite beautiful flower right there. And the biggest issue I saw was that 80% of our work time should be client work, so invoiced from the clients, and that's totally normal. However, we didn't have nearly enough clients for that. And I still remember when all the employees were instructed to do sales on the side, but we didn't get in-depth instructions, processes, SOPs, goals, anything. And then it hit me, even big agencies don't necessarily know how to do sales systematically. And after that, I started learning everything there is about to know from client acquisition for B2B companies. And I hired a mentor, invested over 20,000 euros in consulting, actually over 20,000 at this point, and explored every opportunity that is. And a year later, I had a repetitive framework for booking high-ticket demos and signing long retainer contracts. And a while after this, I started Phoenixtal. And since then, I've been fortunate enough to work with over 20 European agencies and B2B companies. And we have helped them generate warm leads, interesting sales conversations, and dream clients. And our efforts have led to over 800 meetings with brands like Lidl, BMW, PostNord, Nokia, Rovio, you name it. And so far, we have generated over 10 million euros in sales opportunities. And for what it's worth, we are among the few select SmartLead certified partners. And SmartLead is a sending tool that we're going to go over just in a second. So let's get into the good stuff. I'll show you exactly how to identify intent signals, book 10 high-ticket demos per month, and sign 1 to 3 retainers every month while cutting your sales cycle in half. And you can do this in 4 steps. 1. Build your foundations with market research. And I know market research, boring, but stick with me. It's very important. Step 2, position yourself as the obvious choice. And step 3, engineer a high-precision outreach engine that is highly scalable. And 4, convert interest into. Now, step 1 is to build your foundation with market research. And market research is the most important step of any business because it lays the foundation on which everything is built, your customers. And when you do it right, you'll uncover your market's pains, fears, hopes, dreams, beliefs, past mistakes, and everything. And if you skip it, your marketing will be surface level and you can be compared to anyone, even ChatGPT nowadays. And most companies skip market research because it is boring. It is boring, and you may be tempted to do the same, but I can't emphasize it enough, so I repeat. If you don't do market research, your communications won't cut through the noise and nobody will care. You will just waste your ad budget, money for tools, money for employees, money for office space, because you can't talk to your customers but without it. So you'll just be another agency in the market. That's horrible. So how can you do market research? And here are 4 ways to do market research from best to worst. First is to interview paying customers because there is already trust and you know that they need your services because they are paying you. And second best is interview your prospects and sales reps. Your prospects, you have probably taken some notes or call recordings, or your sales reps also know a lot of your target audience. So this is also a very good way. Third way is to read Reddit, communities, groups, forums, and watch YouTube videos, and which is also decent to do. And last but also least, is also a decent way to use ChatGPT and read blog articles, but these are definitely the best, and this is also pretty good, and this is decent. And when you're doing interviews, ask open-ended questions like what changes were you looking to make in your advertising before buying, and change this to whatever service you are providing. Why was it important to you personally and for the business? And were there any other ways you considered before buying from us? And this forces the person to think and to really answer with depth you're looking for, because again, these answers can't be some surface level stuff that ChatGPT can just spit out. These need to be deep. And yeah, whichever method you choose, create a simple Google Sheet and answer these questions. So niche, what niche are like these companies from? What niche attributes there are? So headcount, job title, location, revenue range, stuff like that. Market's pain points, fears, failures, desires, dreams, beliefs, and mistakes. And you'll also uncover something almost forgotten in the age of tools and gimmicks, and this is important as well: the sophistication of your market. And here is an image of market sophistication by the book Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. And that's a great book. I highly recommend it. I have it here. It's one of the best book in marketing that every marketing professional should read. But yeah, by understanding the market sophistication, you can craft messaging that resonates and is different from others. So in unsophisticated markets, such as level 1 and 2, you should make a simple claim without overwhelming your prospect, because there haven't been a lot of competition here. There hasn't been many claims done in these markets, so you can pretty much get away with less. But in sophisticated markets, such as 3, 4, or even 5, they have heard it all. And in these situations, you need to come up with a unique mechanism to get past the skepticism and to make logically sense why your service is good when others have probably failed. And most agency services are at levels 3 to 4 sophistication, depending on your location. So for example, maybe if you are in Greece or something, the sophistication can be lower. But if you are in United States, UK, the sophistication is way higher. And let's take an example. So if you pitch somebody more organic visitors through SEO, so search engine optimization, you're in for a rough ride, because that offer has been heard many times. So what is the solution? The solution is to do market research and find out what your prospect actually want. And based on this, you can create a unique mechanism to cut through the noise and make yourself different from the 1,000 other people that are offering SEO. And here's an example campaign from Phoenixtal's cold email campaigns for marketing agencies. I know marketing agencies very well. I've been in the space for years, and because of that, I have also done market research, so I'm able to get good results. So here is 80% open rates on their campaigns. Reply rates go from 12%, 37% in one campaign, 22% reply rates, and positive reply rates go from 16% to what is the best, 24. So these are quite nice results, and that is only possible because of market research. And when your market research sheet is filled out, you can go back to it and use the information for everything. You can create ads, offers, content, sales letters, presentations, landing pages, social media profiles, everything. And every other marketing effort also suddenly feels easy, and you will skyrocket your results, not with gimmicks, but by speaking to your market. And when you have your answers, it's time to stand out from the crowd. And step 2 is to position yourself as the obvious choice. So we all have digital footprints and personal brands, whether we like it or not. And the question is, will you let others make their decision on their own behalf and make it work against you? Or do you want to control what they perceive and make it work in your favor? And we both know the answer is clear to that. So what should we optimize in our digital footprint? We can optimize many things, but in B2B, LinkedIn is by far the most important and what you should focus on. So let's go over my LinkedIn profile and check what I have done, so you can draw inspiration. So first of all, when you come to my profile, you can see my headline. So this is a clear one sentence offer, and then is the profile picture, which is unique. I let my personality shine, a smile, maybe a little hat or something, and brand colors as well. So it's not totally too serious and boring. And then banner, also brand colors here, call out my niche, which is the European agencies, and also the offer from here, just a slightly rephrased, so I can say more, and also social proof, so clay badge, smart lead badge, my company logo, and also 3 call to actions. So in the banner, here, and here. Next one is the about section on the profile. So here I will go deeper into my offer, mechanism, benefits, and how can I help. So if you click here, see more, you can like write your own about section, tell more about yourself and how you can help, and make it like specific to your target audience. So it's not just some fluff words. And then featured section. So what I want you to do is to think about your LinkedIn profile as your landing page, not just like a social media profile, but a landing page. Because check this. This is like the above of the fold. When a person lands here, boom, they can see everything. Then here they scroll a bit, they can learn more. And here is 2 call to actions. So add 1 to 2 main actions you like the visitors to do. What I like to do, offer my visitors, is to either book a call here or to download my playbook here, so they like get my newsletters and stuff like that. And then finally the activities section here. When you post, I'm gonna go over to that soon, but here people can see that, okay, this guy is posting, he's a real human being, he's not some AI, so that's important nowadays. And to amplify your growth on LinkedIn, you can use Sales Navigator to create a relevant lead list. Then you can use this Sales Navigator lead list and put it to HeyReach, is a LinkedIn automation tool, and you can send 200 weekly connection requests to these contacts and decision makers automatically, which is quite nice. And here's an example of that HeyReach campaign. So we can send a connection request here, and then if it's accepted, we can send a like message sequence. I have here like 2 to 3 messages. We can give value, give playbooks, some kind of lead magnets, and just to get to know the other decision maker, not to offer everything at once, because that's annoying. And to grow faster and generate inbound leads, you should also implement a posting strategy. And when new decision makers join your network, they will see that, okay, this guy is posting valuable post, and they will like get to know you. You become familiar face in their feed, and they visit your profile, and you can also see that, and you can start conversations with them. And keep in mind to create why posts rather than how to post, because why posts attracts clients. They understand, okay, this is actually important, and not exactly how to do it, because that attracts competitors and you don't want that. So you should also categorize your post into 3 categories. So the first category is top of funnel. This is like personal stories, overall topics, stuff that many people can understand and relate to. And the second category is middle of funnel content. This is the vast majority of your content. This could be like how you help, why post, why it's important, and your like craftsmanship. And then 15% is bottom of funnel content, which is like straight up offers, case studies, lead magnets, stuff like that attracts inbound leads. And here's an example of what's possible. So one of my posts about cold email, so relevant to me, got over 900 comments and 60,000 impressions. And as a result, I added over 300 newsletter subscribers from this one post and closed multiple clients. And here you can see it, 900 comments and 60,000 impressions. This is a lead magnet post. You can go check it out. You have probably seen them on LinkedIn, but as of this writing or filming, they work pretty well. And when you do cold calls, emails, DMs, and other outreach, people will check out your online presence. And if it resonates with them and they see the value you provide for them, they will respond to your message. And if it don't, they'll just move on with their day. And yeah, that's why it's super important to like optimize your digital footprint. Okay, now we are done with the research, with the optimization, with the boring stuff. But now we can actually start doing outreach, which is super interesting. So the first step is deliverability. We must ensure that our message will be seen. So when preparing for email outreach, the first and most important step is to get your message seen. And this is especially true nowadays because email filters are more strict than ever. And if prospects can't see your message, it doesn't matter how good your targeting, research, messaging, offer, optimization, digital footprint is, it's wasted. Now, most of your competitors don't know the strategies I'm about to share with you. So don't get alarmed because they are slightly technical, but you can get through it. It's quite easy at the end. And when you do it, you have a massive advantage. So don't skip around. So the first step is to get separate domain names from GoDaddy, for example. You can also get them from Porkban. And this is done to keep your main domain safe and also to increase the volume that you can send. We'll go over that soon. So if your main domain is phoenixstyle.com, you want to get domains like Phoenixstyle Mail, Phoenixstyle Group, Phoenixstyle Info, Phoenixstyle Inbox, stuff like that. And here's an image from a domain search in GoDaddy. So you can just search your domains you want and buy them. It's super easy. Next, you must set up your SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records in your DNS settings. So every domain has their own DNS settings. And this is done to authenticate your email addresses to email service providers such as Google and Outlook. And if your domains are new and you don't set these up and just start sending emails, you won't reach the primary inbox because they are not authenticated. And now Google and ChatGPT has like super easy guides on this. So don't get alarmed because this is gibberish and it can look like super complicated, but it really isn't that complicated. So don't worry. And here is a singular domain names, DNS settings, and DMARC record. So every domain has their own like DNS record. Here you can see we are in the settings. It's DNS here, and here is the actual DMARC record. And a DMARC record is a like code snippet, and you just add it here, and that authenticates your like domain to the email service providers such as Google and Microsoft. And after setting up your DNS records, create 2 users through Google and or Outlook for every domain you have. And as a rule of thumb, you can send up to 25 daily emails with one email account nowadays. It used to be like 50, 60 emails easily, but it was saying like the filters are more strict. You need to have more patience. So 21 emails per one account is good. So if you want to send 200 emails per day, you need 8 accounts, so email accounts, across 4 different domain names because you create those 2 accounts per domain. Now, here is an example of email accounts capable of sending 200 emails per day. So here are my own email accounts. There is like both Google accounts and both Microsoft accounts. And as you can see here, it's like Omar Abdullah here, my name. And each of these can send like 25 emails per day. And once you have created the desired number of accounts, you need to warm them up. And for this, you need a sending tool with warm-up capabilities. And the best ones are Smart Lead and Instantly. And inside there, you can set up warm-up settings, and you should keep them in warm-up minimum of 2 weeks before sending a single message. And this will raise your domain reputation, and you will land in the primary inbox much easier. And here is one of my own accounts warm-up held. So here, 100%, and 2-week warm-up period, it is done. And if you don't know what a warm-up is, it's like a pool of tens of thousands of email accounts sending like fake emails to one another. So the activity looks normal. And that's why you can land in the primary inbox. So don't skip this. And it's super easy to do in Smart Leader instantly. Now, after adding your accounts to warm up and waiting for 2 weeks, you can start the campaigns. You should also remember the following tips for maximum deliverability, because it's not only the technical settings. Here, there is more. So double verify your lead list. We will go over the lead list parts soon, where to find them and stuff like that, but you should verify them. You can use Million Verifier for this, for example. It's a tool. You should also keep your sequences short, like maximum of 3 messages, because if you send like 6 messages, which was normal a couple of years ago, people will mark you as spam and your domains will burn extremely fast. And by burn, I mean go bad and you will get to the spam folder. So 3 emails maximum per like person. And avoid also links and images in your messages, because Google and Microsoft want to like prevent malicious emails. So malicious emails always has like links and images. So when you skip these, you skip like the radar. And also get both Outlook and Microsoft accounts, because this diversifies your infrastructure. And if you can, use edge domains and dedicated IPs. So if you are serious about this, get like a handful of domains right now, let them sit for 3-6 months, and then set them up to the warm-up, and boom, you will have much better deliverability. And with these steps, you can achieve over 80% open rates. And when more people see your messages, they can respond to them more. You will also get more meetings and more clients. And that's why this is like the first step we do. And here is as an example in this image, Phoenix campaigns with 83% open rates. Total leads connected like 125 leads and 104 opened them. And over the next 2-week warm-up period, you can do the next steps that we'll go over. Okay, things are about to get much more interesting, because we will map out your TAM, so total addressable market, and identify the signals we can use to reach out at the right time when people are actually looking for your services. So identifying your total addressable market is an important step that every single company should take. And this means finding all the companies, decision makers, and their contact information there is in the internet and in their market. Yet most people don't do this. They prospect manually or use a single tool to find them. And a single tool approximately gives you about 50% of the people in your market. And even worse, one tool can find about 50% of the contact information of this 50%. And even worse than that, 50% of the contact information that is available is up to date. So instead of getting the 100% of your market with one tool, as people think, you get 12%. And now imagine not doing research and sending generic messages to the 12% of people of your market with poor deliverability, which most people are doing. It's impossible to get results this way in 2025. And luckily, most of your competitors are doing it. So you have a massive advantage once more. Now, and we do this with not one, not two tools, but all of the tools. So here are a few tools to get you started. Apollo is great for general data. BuildWith is great for like finding specific technologies companies are using. Crunchbase is great for like funding information, startup, and also general data. PandaMatch is good for lookalike companies, so companies similar to your best case studies. StoreLead is the best e-com data source there is. Sales Navigator is a amazing general like data source. It's from LinkedIn. And People Data Labs is also good for like data, general data. And Google Maps Scraper is great for like brick and mortar stores, so such as like barbers or gyms or stuff like that. And now pick one to start with and find potential clients based on your criteria. So here's an image, the filtering options inside this Apollo data tool. So here you can add the relevant job titles you want to target, the location, how many employees these companies must have, industry and keywords. So what industry these companies must be. And this is just the first step to get your initial list. Now, after adding the relevant filters, you will export that data into Google Sheet, clean it up, and this is what it will look like. So first name, last name, email, title, company name, domain, LinkedIn URL, also company LinkedIn URL. You can find their phone numbers. You can find their industries, employee counts, as mentioned, much more data. But this is like the basic data you can get. And in addition to this, there are other more interesting ways to find even more high intent data. So this is like directories, job boards, event attendees, LinkedIn post reactors, LinkedIn company followers. So the harder the data is to find, the better it will perform on average. This is because, for example, these people from these data sources will get much fewer messages than, for example, people from Apollo, which is one of the most common data sources. And often their intent is higher also. So if you like reach out to somebody that is hiring, that is much more higher intent than just somebody from Apollo, even when Apollo is also good for initial list. And we can enrich this list with the signals, and we will do that next. So now that you have your initial list, for example, for Apollo, you will have a lot of decision makers with no contact details. And we can use tools like Clay, and inside Clay we can use the waterfall enrichment that enriches the data with over 10 data sources. So it will find the contact information not with one tool, not with two tools, but 10 tools. It will check first this one, first this one, first this one, and this way we can find a lot more contact details. And here is an example of a Clay workflow and a waterfall enrichment. So here we find with one tool, second tool, third tool, also segment the list based on the campaigns we want, and then we can push them to Smart Lead or instantly to like have much more targeted sniper campaigns rather than like spray and pray. Now, when you have a solid list of companies, decision makers, and their contact details inside Clay, you can do something extremely powerful, which is like the title of this whole video, so the signals, and let's check that out. So you can identify intent signals so that you can reach out when they are looking for solutions, which is super powerful. And you can do this inside Clay and its native integrations. You can use like 100 different tools inside Clay, like natively, so no complicated setup or stuff like that. Or you can use thousands of tools with the API key pretty much from any tool. So the sky is truly the limit here, and your imagination. Now, inside Clay, you can monitor for buying signals, such as hiring for a role, recent funding, rising web traffic, headcount growth, new technology installed, and many, many more. And there are also other signals you can track, such as bad reviews, advertising on, for example, Meta or TikTok, new decision makers in role, recently published case studies on their websites, and decision makers active on LinkedIn. And you can like mention the signal in all of your messages, so which is super, super powerful. You can at scale personalize these messages. So now you can find intent signals from your ideal clients. You also know what they want thanks to your market research, and your messages will reach the inbox at scale thanks to the deliverability we went through. And on top of that, you're the obvious choice because of your positioning in LinkedIn and website. But we can do even better than that. Sending relevant messages will gain people's attention, especially nowadays when it's rare. Anybody can just slap something on ChatGPT, whip up a sending tool, and start sending, but they are trash messages. Most people do outreach by talking about themselves and yelling bye bye bye. And people have started to recognize the patterns from the hundreds of messages they receive. So they don't even need to read the messages anymore. They can just scan it like a robot and see the common things in the messages, and they will automatically categorize them as important or unimportant. And for these reasons, we can personalize our messages in Clay on top of the relevant signals we will use. And here are a few examples you can mention in the messages. You can mention a coworker's name, you can mention core pain points, you can mention case study on their website. You can also mention the industry or sub-industry on the niche they operate in. You can also mention some recent LinkedIn posts or comment they have posted. You can also mention company values or mission statements at scale. And you can use AI to find the company meta description and use AI to manipulate and extract the information you want to use in the emails. And here's an example of a use case. So having an AI visit the company case study page and picking the strongest or most relevant case study and grabbing the case study name and clean it up so we can use it in the email and automatically insert that name into our email. Now putting this all together, what can an email like this look like? So, hey Tom, saw you nailed that case study with Nokia. How are you securing similar clients considering your traffic has dropped by 50% in the last 3 months according to SimilarWeb? Now we can use SimilarWeb in Clay and we can see this exact percentages it has dropped for any website from the time period we want. And this is the case study we mentioned here. Now, referring to a case study here, our client saw a 77% increase in demos through Google in 90 days after we helped them reclaim their ranking. So extremely relevant to their situation here. Let me know if you want a quick audit to uncover a few long-having fruit. So here, actually providing some kind of value, not just saying, hey dude, we can get you more organic visitors through SEO, as I was explaining in the market sophistication stage of this video. That will not work. And anybody can send those kind of messages, but these messages definitely work. Now, imagine the response when you send emails like this in a world where everyone is using a generic AI copy without any research and whatsoever. Now, if you want to take things further, you can create valuable lead magnets. So create lead magnets are a complete solution to a narrow problem that you offer. So it must be relevant also to your services and for which you could charge money. So they actually need to be valuable. And again, you need to nail two things. They must be valuable, truly, and you must package them right, which is also the step 2 we do here, which is the positioning. We must perceive good as well, because even if we create the most valuable lead magnet, if people don't perceive it that way, that's as good as nothing. So instead of age-old PDF that are ugly and run through, use format lead magnets into the following formats. So Gamma presentations, Google document like this, Notion research, a mirror board, swipe file, or some kind of video. And here are a few examples of lead magnets I have created myself. So lead magnet 1 is a playbook on how we generate over 10 million in opportunities in 1.5 years. And as you can see here, this is a valuable lead magnet for sure, but it's also packaged right. As you can see with the fast screen share, with the background, this is captivating, and this also draws people attention, because if I just would post that, hey, I have this playbook, nobody would care. So you have to also capture the attention and then also provide the value, because if you only capture the attention and it's not valuable, people will hate you for that. So you must nail those two things. Second lead magnets here, super captivating, screen share as well. Top 20 LinkedIn authorities and 200 viral posts. Here's the post, so people draw inspiration from them. And then final lead magnet, it's related to this video actually. 27 buying signals and tools to track them. So here you can see the buying signals and tools you can use. And also I made playbooks specific to different kind of companies, such as podcast agencies, marketing agencies, and the best signals from them. And when you send people relevant, personal, and valuable messages, they will be actually excited to talk to you in the meetings, and that's what we all want. Okay, and the final step, last but not least, is to convert interest into high value clients. Now, when you get interested replies, it's crucial to handle them well, because in most cases, you don't book them straight in. You need to talk to the people, like in normal situations too. Multiple messages that can happen over days, weeks, or even months. But if you don't do this right, all the hard work you have done so far will be for nothing. Interest is fleeting, and you need to capture it as soon as this happens, or you'll lose it. So we don't want this to happen, so you must create an inbox management process. And the first thing is time to lead. Inside Smart Lead, or Instantly, or whatever sending tool you are using, you can reply to your incoming messages. And the problem is you have dozens of other things to do than watch out for replies in your day. And if you don't reply to positive replies fast, ideally in 5 to 30 minutes, you'll block fewer meetings. You won't lose them all, but you will lose some of them. And that's why you should let AI monitor your positive replies and tag them automatically so you can get notified about them immediately. And you can easily integrate Smart Lead and Slack to achieve this. So here is an image of a conversation in Smart Lead, tagged as interested here. So inside Smart Lead, you can tag them with different tags, and AI is monitoring my responses. And when on positive replies comes, as here, yes please, it tags is interesting, and it create an automation that creates this notification in Slack, and I will immediately know, okay, somebody has a positive reply, and I can answer to it, or our inbox manager can. And when you have this set up, you can reply to the most important messages immediately while going on with your day. And the second step is a CRM, and as I mentioned, you won't book the most meetings on the first day when they reply. And that's why we need to use a CRM to track every conversations and maximize meetings and clients. And if you don't use a CRM for this, you will lose around 75% of the meetings. And yeah, 70% because most of your meetings come after multiple touch points. Now you can use any CRM for this, it really doesn't matter. If you have one right now, use that. If you don't have one, I recommend Pipedrive. It's quite nice. It's simple, it's cost efficient. So here you can see in this image, I'm adding a prospect that replied positively to Pipedrive here. So you can create this pipeline, and here you can add the positive response and the details of that person and company. And after that, you can create a reminder immediately. And here you can add a reminder up to 1 day or 2 days from the response. No longer, because you need to keep this conversation going. So when you add that positive reply here, add a reminder immediately so you remember every day that you look at your CRM, okay, these conversations need to be forwarded. And for the best time and benefit ratio, that's pretty much it. You don't need to do too much more. Just use your CRM every day. That's the biggest problem I have seen in many companies. They have this fancy stuff, but they don't use it every day. And you can and should also create automations, integrations at some point, but in the start, this is the 80% of the stuff that matters. And as the final nail to the coffin, your sales presentation. When prospects have seen your emails, LinkedIn profile, and content, they will want to have a call at some point. And if you present your offer with a generic sales deck, the continuity is shattered, the trust is lost, and your deal is gone. So how do you prevent this from happening? By creating a sales presentation that is on brand, that's also positioned right, it's personalized, and it follows a proven converting framework. Now, when creating your sales deck with tools like Gamma is an amazing tool, you should definitely check that out. You just include your brand colors, your audience terms, so the words they use, prospect's logo, so it's kind of personalized, social proof, clear offer, guarantees, and bonuses. And here's a proven structure you can use. So in the first slide, I use a clear offer that your niche needs based on your market research and feedback. And you can use this format, so for and call out your niche. Then how to achieve a desired outcome in time frame without a common page mode while benefit 1 or benefit 2 and benefit 3. So this is extremely clear to the prospect of the benefit they can get from your offer. Not just some kind of service presentation, but the benefit. In the slide 2 is team introduction, because people want to know who will work with them. In slide 2, in-depth case study with results, testimonial, transformation, and media. So I use this structure, so case, and then the company name, achieved these results in this time frame. Then I also add a real client testimonial here, and then challenge, solution, result, like a short story in that format. So what was the challenge, what was the solution, and what was the result? And then also very important part is to incorporate your client's face here, so they can put a face to the results, also the client's logo, and if you have any media like screenshots, stuff like that, add them here. That gives more depth to the case study. I also repeat this once more. You can repeat it maximum of 3 times, but don't overdo it, because the prospect will get bored. Then slide 5 is relevant media logos to increase proof even more. So here I have like companies I have booked for my clients. So that's like another like depthness. And then slide 6 is the process you use to bring your client from situation A to situation B. So the offer strategy, you can name this your offer, then phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And if you create your presentation with Gamma, you can like open these up and put information there. So it's like highly dynamic. So that's really nice. And then slide 7 is partnership timeline to make it extremely clear how long everything takes. It's super important that the client know, okay, if I buy this, this happens, this happens, this happens. So I have here week 1, week 2, week 3, and so forth. Then slide 8 is the expectations. So what's required, the communication, stuff like that. So very simple slide, but these need to be like clear again. And then slide 9 is visualize the action steps to achieve the desired outcome. So this is like another way for the prospect to visualize, okay, what happens first, what happens second, in a more simple format, and what are the actual results the client will get. Then a very nice step that most people don't do, you can actually add frequently asked questions here. You can pre-handle common objections, so you don't have to do that after asking for the price, so that will be smoother. You can add here like 1 to 5 common objections you get and answer them here. And then the final slide is 11. So present your offers, investment, guarantees, deliverables, and bonuses. So here like the main offer name, investment. So use the word investment because not price, it's an investment in nearly all cases. Then guarantees, if you have one, add one. If you have two, add two. And then service. So, and then it includes if you have some expensive tools. So also let the customer know so they can like justify the price for themselves, and add also some nice bonuses if you have to like make the value higher. And with this structure, you'll give everything needed for the prospect to make a decision. And it also designed in a stunning, interactive, and professional way. And that's like matches your positioning and stuff like that. And I created this template from my own deck, which I've used to close over 120,000 euros in sales. And I use Gamma, still this like framework, and close more deals. So as long as you build your foundations with market research, position yourself as the obvious choice, engineer a high-precision outreach engine, and convert interest into high-value clients, you will sign 1 to 3 long high-ticket retainer contracts every month for your agency with respected brands. Okay, and action starts here. So there's few ways to do this. You can try to do it in-house, but you'll spend months doing market research, interviewing people, analyzing forums, and talking to AI. You'll also do the boring work, apply it, only to reiterate once more. You'll also have to fight through the confusion of email deliverability, learning about the domain name settings, email service providers, IPs, and other technicalities took me years. You'll also need to pay for over 10 tools that cost over 1.5k every month, and then you'll need to spend months learning about Clay, and more. You'll also spend months creating systematic testing frameworks for hundreds of variations. You need to know the sophistication, pain points, and psychological triggers that work. And you'll also start to calculate the 6-figure cost of waiting and not knowing. Customers you didn't close, time spent learning, and money spent on hires and all of the tools. Or you can work with Phoenixstar and start closing more deals in 4 weeks. Again, this is for European agencies that know outbound works, but lack the time, resources, or to know how to do it right and fast. This is also for agencies that are done relying on referrals, economic stability, and chasing low quality micromanaging clients. And also for agencies who want to land 1 to 3 respected brands every month on long, high-ticket retainers. And we have used this process to help Juhani Pajunen, the CEO of Podcast Media. They went from struggling with 2 to 5 low-quality leads to adding 101 sales conversations in 12 months. And here are some screenshots. We are celebrating about booking 3 of the biggest companies in Finland, one of the biggest in 24 hours on their sales reps calendars, and also about the first closed deal with Secto Change Cars. And the challenge was that they had no systematic sales process, and they were getting like 2 to 5 low-quality leads per month from cold calls and webinars. And as a solution, we did market research based on their criteria. We used multiple data sources to identify all the relevant decision makers in the target companies. And we also scraped directories and websites for untapped leads and prioritized a few like key signals. And finally, we contacted them fast with automation and handled all the responses and conversion tracking on their behalf. And over the year, of working together, we booked 101 meetings and 2 million euros in sales opportunities with the biggest brand in Finland. And here is a testimonial from Juhani from on LinkedIn. And we have also helped Maitlukka, a partner of Kuba Advertising. They went from relying entirely on referrals to a completely from calendar in 29 days. And here is also some screenshots from our Slack channels. Nice, like sales conversation with Skifferi, one of the most well-known pizza places in Finland, and also pausing the campaigns because they are entirely booked for the next week. And the challenge Kuba faced before working together was manual and ineffective sales processes. They didn't have the know-how of any of the latest tools on the market. And as a solution, we conducted market research once more and created a target campaign based on Kuba's best case studies. So we used a lookalike signal to find the best or similar companies to their best case studies. And we then sent relevant emails to the right decision makers on these companies. And in 29 days, we booked 17 meetings with decision makers that was actually interested in Kuba's services. And we also paused the campaigns as the calendars were fuller than ever. And here's also a testimonial from Mike from my LinkedIn. Now, if you decide to work with us, you will get 10 high-ticket demos and close 1 to 3 monthly recurring revenue clients every month with respected brands. We'll also improve your closing rate and cut your sales cycle in half because we can contact these decision makers already looking for your services, so they don't need to think for months on end. You'll also grow your personal brand with 250 to 500 relevant decision makers every month. And we'll also show you how to do that posting strategy, DM strategy, to make this multi-channel lead gen system. You'll also fire yourself from the repetitive tasks so you can work on the business, not in it. You'll also gain clarity on your market because we will do the whole market research on your behalf and position yourself as the go-to authority in your market. And you'll finally feel confident knowing you operate on proven fundamentals like market research and positioning and great offers to the right people, not some latest gimmick, trends, or AI tools. And if you're interested in seeing how this would work for your company, click the link below on our website, phoenixstar.com, and book a 30-minute discovery call with me personally, and we can talk about it. And in this call, we'll inspect your current situation and see if there is potential to land that 1 to 3 retainer clients every month for your agency. And of course, we'll back everything up with a juicy guarantee. So if you don't deliver on the promised results, you'll get a full refund. And because of our hands-on approach, we only onboard 2 new companies a month. We can't take any more. And I also wanted to answer a few of the most common questions I have gotten. So why wouldn't I just do this myself? You most definitely can. Just remember to do that market research in depth and tailor your messaging to the market sophistication levels. Source your target audience from 10 data sources and explore the best deliverability practices. And I highly recommend using Clay for this. And on the deliverability side, check the DNS settings, so SPF, DKIM, DMARC on each domain. Learn about IP addresses, ESP regulations, and sending volume, list validation, and more. And finally, look for intent signals. You can use also Clay for this to identify when companies are looking for solutions. And if you prefer help, we can do this and more for you with the proven track record, plug and play processes, and guarantees. You don't need to pay for the tech stack or spend your valuable time for this. And a second most common question is, are there any long-term contracts? So that's a good question. And the notice period depends on the contract itself. And it can be either 1 month or none at all. So we don't lock you in for years on end. And the third question is, what are the exact terms of the guarantee? We offer a 30-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee. And you'll also pay for qualified calls that match your exact criteria and show up for the call. And this takes us to the next question. So what is a qualified call? You will choose the call criteria yourself, and we will handle the rest to your calendar. So the criteria are location. So what locations do you want? What industries do you want? Who do you want to target in decision maker wise? What is the headcount of these companies? What is the minimum revenue or maximum if this matters to you? They must positive reply, and they must also show up for the call. And in addition to these basic criteria, we'll monitor the intent signals to identify buyers that are needing your help right now. And when can you expect results? So the campaigns are launched on day 15 to 17 because we need to warm up the new infrastructure we set up for you. We will also do things like market research and your positioning and your LinkedIn profile on the first week, but the tangible meetings will come 3 to 5 days after we have launched the campaigns. And you can expect your first clients in 2 to 6 weeks after launching, depending on your sales cycle, of course. But how much time is needed from your part? So we will have a 1 hour onboarding call to get started. And after that, we will have a weekly meeting for the first month. This is usually 30 minutes. And after that, we will meet bi-weekly or less if that's what you want. We can also meet weekly after this month. And with Juhani, for example, we did so well with them. We didn't meet in 3 months. So there is no pressure from you to invest much time in this. And the second question is, will this work for you if you are from whatever country? So your operating language must be English, and then we can help you, or Finnish, but we can help you in other languages. But if you can operate in English, this will work for you. And how do you justify the cost to your boss? So in this case, I would explain the cost of opportunity cost. How much will it cost to wait and spend months in the trenches without any guarantees of results? How much would hiring and training and all the tools cost? So rather I'd take a provider who knows what they're doing, have good guarantees, and you don't need to pay for the tool stack. And as the final question, how do I know you guys are legit? And I personally know the thrill of considering new services or mentors or coaches. And to put your mind at ease, we have been fortunate enough to work with over 20 agencies and B2B service providers. You can check out our website for our reviews, Google business profile, and my personal LinkedIn as well. And we have scheduled over 800 sales conversations and generated more than 10 million euros in opportunities. And we're also a Smart Lead certified partner. You can check that also from their website. And I've been extremely active on LinkedIn for years. So if this sounds interesting to you, please come and say hello to me on LinkedIn or book a call from our website at svenningstar.com. And I hope to talk to you soon. Bye bye.